For your Unit 6, Lesson 5, which is our last lesson of this unit and of the course, woohoo, you are looking at solving multi-step problems that arise from real-world applications. Again, that is quite a broad learning goal, and that's okay. All you're going to be doing is using different formulas for the most part that are from your grade 9 academic formula sheet for perimeter and area and for surface area and volume. So I've posted that on Google Classroom. Just make sure that you're referencing that for basically all of your homework. So when it asks you to calculate area, you know exactly the formula that you're calculating or whatnot. So I'm going to go through an example in your lesson of using those formulas, and then that is essentially what you're focusing on for your homework today. Okay, so here is our example here. So Winston has decided to paint his living room. The length of the living room is 9 meters. The width is 6 meters, and the height of the floor from the floor to the ceiling is 3 meters. Okay, so determine the total surface area that Winston will paint if he uses 2 coats of paint. So the area, you can do this a couple different ways, but you can look at them with all different and then add up the total surface area, which is essentially what the formula for a rectangular prism is, right? You're going to do your width times your height plus your length times your width plus your length times your height. So that formula there, and then multiply it by 2 because you have your ceiling and your floor. But again, you're not going to paint your floor, so with this formula you would have to be careful with doing 2 of that one calculation. You'd have 4 walls then as well. Okay, so if you break it up though, the area of the ceiling to be painted is 9 by 6 or 54 meters. Remember, we're not painting the floor. Okay. The area of the longer wall is 9 by 3. So your length times your height of your wall is 9 by 3 or 27. But because you have 2 longer walls, you're going to times that by 2. So you have 54 meters square. And then two of the shorter walls, so 6 by 3, because that's your width and the height. So 6 by 3, which is 18 meters. There are 2 shorter walls for a total area of 18 times 2, so 36 meters. If you wanted to picture that, you can draw out your rectangular prism as well. So you would have 9, you would have 6, and you would have 3. Okay, so that might help you visualize it as well. So to determine the total area for that surface area for it, you would do 54 plus 54 plus 36, so it'd be 144 meters squared, or you have to multiply, don't forget to multiply it by 2 because we wanted 2 coats of paint, so it is 288 meters squared of paint that we would need for that as well. Okay, so there's an example of something you might see. Another like application part to this, so same idea. So Winston still has that amount, but now I want how many 4-liter cans of paint should Winston purchase if 1 liter of paint will cover approximately 12 meters squared. Well, we have 288, so that's our total, divided by what? 1 can of paint, which would be 12 meters squared, so you would need 24 liters of paint. Okay, so he should purchase 24 divided by 4 because they are 4-liter containers, or a minimum of 6 cans. So Winston may wish to buy an extra can of paint for a total of 7 cans to account for any spillage, absorption rates, or any future touch-ups. Okay, but that's just a wish. I would expect you to put at least 6 cans there, a minimum of 6 cans there. Okay. Another thing that you could have asked, Winston has researched on the internet has found a suitable paint that will cost $30 for a 4-liter can before tax. To determine the total cost before taxes to paint his living room. So simply you're going to take the $30 times it by 7 if we're erring on the side of caution for paint, which would be $210 before tax. And then for D is what are some factors that Winston should consider before he makes his final decision on the amount of paint that he purchases. So the first coat may require more paint. I know I just painted a room, and the part of the one wall that I was painting was super super dark, and so we definitely took more coats of paint. So you just may have to consider that first coat may require more paint, and also check that at the store if he can bring any of the leftover paint back, because he technically only needs 6. So if he ends up buying an extra um, can, well, he might have a full extra one, which paint is not the cheapest. $30 is actually quite cheap there, but then he can take it back if he needs to. Okay, so this is your key concepts for this chapter. So what it is just like many occupations, many college programs are just going to get you doing the applications of polynomial functions and modeling and occupation, mathematical modeling and occupations. So that's why this lesson seems a little bit random, but you're going to want to access that formula sheet because it's lots of things like if you are to put a floor in, how much tile do you need, etc., etc. Just keep in mind in a couple of the questions, definitely number 9, I remember seeing, no research questions are to be done. It says like go on the internet and research the cost of this and whatnot. You don't need to do that, so skip over the questions if it says research questions. Okay, do every other one though if it doesn't say research. Okay, so your homework is there. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.